But it doesn't stop there. Soon after the HP Dawah chats were revealed, including their orchestration and collusion in trying to character assassinate Sister Aisha, once again, Ali Dawah sends me another text message.
Salman! How can you do this to me? Salman! My whole reputation is finished. You destroyed me. No, no.
So they got the AI Ali Dawah voice. Hey, Salman, if you ever want someone to read Ali Dawah's messages, I think I'm better than AI at this. Just wanted to point that out. All right. So what was that? Salman. I'll even do it like Ali Dawah. Salman! How could you do this to me, Salman? No, it doesn't work. Ali Dawah writes differently from the way he speaks. That's interesting. So, Salman, how can you do this to me? Salman, my whole reputation is finished. You destroyed me. No, how will I recover? That's all he does, apparently, is mock in response as he's being completely destroyed.
Recover. Ha, 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 ha. You're hilarious, man. So Dawah brothers coming together to defend another person who's been falsely accused makes them complicit when she was working with enemies of Islam? Ha, ha, ha.
Hey,
and
that's
having
us.
boy talk and making jokes makes us hypocrites? Ha, ha, ha. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Alhamdulillah, our dawah continue.
Let's break this down. First,
what's up?
I have a quick question of what he said. He said enemies of Islam.
That's
so
us.
Is he Islam? I don't know what an enemy of Islam is.
No, that's us. That's us. I mean, specifically me, Abdullah Samir. She tried to contact us, so he's saying she worked with the enemies of Islam.
I understand that. No, I understand what you mean, that he's referring to.
We're your enemies, Isa.
Well, what I'm asking, honestly speaking, like, it sounds like a place of arrogance. I'm being kind of facetious and rhetorical here. I'm like, he's saying enemies of Islam. How does he not know he's an enemy of Islam? Maybe he's an enemy of Islam.
That's true.
Why are you the enemy of Islam?
Yeah, I have to say, who's
Maybe you're a friend of Islam and he's the enemy of Islam. Like, this is the weird framing, is that it's such arrogance. It's like, I am the right guy. I'm the good guy. How do you know that? How do you know you're good? How do you know that?
That wasn't bad. You got to get, and we're proud of that.
We're proud of that.
Two states they were coming together to defend another person who's been falsely accused. This no longer requires a response, as everyone has seen the countless pieces of evidence, and we have exposed the cover-up without a shadow of a doubt. And that's exactly why Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawah are both terrified and petrified to join us and challenge us in a live and public discussion. And that's also why their manhood is nowhere to be found. Second is this constant attempt to label Sister Aisha as working with the enemies of Islam, or even herself being a certified enemy of Islam. We'll address this in more details at a later time, inshallah. But I'd love to hear Ali Dawah elaborate on exactly what information she was secretly providing others about Islam. I hope she didn't leak the X-Files about our religion that we safeguard so dearly and are concealed in some high security vault somewhere in the mountains of Switzerland. Because if that got leaked out, surely we'd all be doomed. Third is how he coins the group's vulgar and obscene joking as boy talk. Newsflash, that's not acceptable within our deen. Our Prophet ﷺ said, a believer is not one who taunts, nor one who curses, nor one who is indecent, nor one who is foul-mouthed. Ali, this isn't just sharing your vulgar jokes between you and Muhammad Hijab. This is in a group of 75 du'at located all around the world with the purpose of discussing deen-related matters. So go ahead, keep trying to justify your dirty mind and your dirty jokes as just boy talk. But I will say there is one thing you revealed about yourself. You are still a boy, as real men do not go into hiding when challenged with the truth.
Poor Ali Dawah. Right, so here we have, I'm guessing, another AI. Here we go.
If he was a real man and husband to Dunya, she wouldn't have left you. Aki, get over it. Don't let her consume you. She's probably married now to a real man who knows how to be a man. Usually in these situations, I blame the man. You may have been moving feminine and she didn't like that maybe. Don't make your whole dunya. Move on, Habibi. I'm looking forward to more videos. Don't stop. Do you dream about dunya? You're obsessed with the woman. Ha 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 ha. Assalamu alaikum.
Subhanallah. Wow. Sometimes people expose themselves better than anyone else ever could. And Ali Dawah just did that. Your message isn't a rebuttal. It's not a defense. It's a tantrum, and it reeks of bitterness and desperation. Honey, I understand. You're humiliated. You've been caught deceiving the public, and now you're flailing, trying to claw your way back with playground insults about dunya. But we're not children. Personal attacks won't erase the evidence. Mockery won't undo the lies, and sarcasm won't save your crumbling credibility. You've made it clear this isn't about truth. It's about revenge. You were exposed, and now you're lashing out like a boy who knows he has no defense. But here's the reality. No amount of deflection will change the fact that you tried to mislead the entire ummah.
Oh, it's hurting. Ooh, it's probably...
And for those still unsure about who's really obsessed, here's a selfie Ali Dawah recently sent me.
What is wrong with this dude, man?
You can't make this stuff up.
Who is that?
The projection.
I don't know. He's with some, what is that, a Power Ranger? What is it?
Yeah, it looks that way. I assume it's some a friend of his in a motorcycle helmet or something, but yeah, it does kind of look like a Power Ranger.
You made your whole dunya. This is what Ali Dawah was sending him text messages saying.
Wild.
Super genius.
You can't make this stuff up. The projection couldn't be more obvious. As we all witnessed in the bombshell revelations from the HP Dawah WhatsApp group, Hashim wasn't just a passive observer. He played an active role in orchestrating the smear campaign against Sister Aisha. He even confirmed that Muhammad Hijab had a misyar marriage with her, the very thing Hijab tried to deny publicly.
So there was no marriage, right?
Misyar marriage. It became Messiar.
And since then, Hashim has gone silent.
Isn't that interesting? They knew it. Sitting there, but he's being framed. They knew it. They knew what happened.
Not a word.
And then he laughs about it, right? He makes a joke and then he laughs about it. Because someone in the group didn't know. Like someone actually genuinely was like, is this a true story or not? Right? So there was no marriage. And he said, oh, yeah, there was. It was a misyar marriage.
It's misyar marriage, but now misyar, ha, 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 ha. Which means these guys, I mean, at least people who are paying attention, they knew it was true. And they all conspired to frame her as someone who's lying about all of this.
Which means, in addition to knowing it was true, they all know Muhammad Hijab is lying because he's saying it never took place. And they don't care. They don't care that Muhammad Hijab is lying.
They're fine with it. They're fine with him lying. And they're fine attacking a woman who's telling the truth. Why? Because if, according to Muhammad Hijab, almost all these guys are doing this, you don't want whistleblowers. You don't want people exposing this stuff, and then everyone starts exposing it, and then you're all exposed. You don't want that. So what do? You conspire to get rid of her and prop up the liar as your hero. Welcome to Dawah.
Not a clarification, not even a hint of remorse for his role in this deception and cover-up. But despite his silence, the truth has a way of catching up. Recently, at Speaker's Corner, the very place where free speech and open debate are supposed to thrive, Hashim was confronted. Not by a scholar, not by an activist, but by a 16-year-old boy. Someone apparently known as Young Bob.
Young Bob!
Hashim, I now call you a scumbag because on a leaked WhatsApp group chat with 72 Dahi, you said, and I quote, you should make it on a video that Muhammad Hijab lied about not being about him. She doubted the Quran and that she had mental health issues.
You're not old enough to talk about marriage.
Yes, I actually am, because I am of the age of puberty.
Call your mommy
So
and daddy.
Hashim,
Subhanallah. Rather than address the core issue, the lies, the accusations, the misyar marriage, the manipulation, Hashim deflects with condescension, dismissing the boy simply because of his age. And when that doesn't work, he runs, not metaphorically, but literally to the police.
Excuse me, guys.
let's go on.
This guy's been harassing me. I told him I'm the
What'd you say?
I said, you want to pause it for a second?
Okay.
The irony, right, of a Muslim saying, you're too young to talk about marriage. You're only 16.
Yeah, 16. You're too young. So according, who is that? Hashim?
Yeah, Hashim.
So just to clarify, according to Hashim, 16 is too young to get married. Thaddeus, how are you not making a video out of that, man?
Yeah, I mean, 16, too young to get married.
All right, we heard it here, folks. You can't even talk.
Condemns his prophet, right?
You can't even talk about marriage at 16, according to Hashim from Speaker's Corner. You heard it here, folks. So whoever stands condemned by those words is condemned. All right, we're good. All right, funny. It's awesome. It's awesome having young Bob in a Behind Veils video exposing all these guys.
He's a treasure, isn't he?
I think there's something interesting here. It's like these people don't want accountability. They're just like, well, I'm going to just try to get away with doing criminal things, and it's okay because, I'm just going to keep it. I'm going to do this. We were talking earlier about fraud, right? And it's like we're going to do affinity group fraud, where like we're in this group, we're going to cover for each other because we have an affinity to each other. So we'll just cover for everybody, and we'll kind of make it so that no one can kind of penetrate what's going on. So I mean, it's a lot of courage that these people are doing to kind of come out and say this is unacceptable what you're doing. And I actually appreciate that both of you are doing this. This needs to be done. It doesn't matter if they're Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, it doesn't matter. But if this is what's happening and people are doing, really shady, bad things, they need to be called out. And I think that it's right to do that. And it's very weird when people want to hide it. It really just, it kind of challenges the person's character when, people are just like, we're just going to hide this stuff. We're going to sweep it under the rug. We're not going to take accountability because we're promoting religion. Like, that's the argument. I'm like, then your whole religion just falls apart. Like, if you're not based on a good foundation, if you're not based in nobility and integrity, then what you're promoting doesn't have integrity or nobility. So it's disgusting, and it's really sad that he uses ageism. Oh, and I wanted to say one other thing. It's funny. I think we're talking about Muslim Me Too. It's the Muslim Me Too movement. That's what we're doing here. Muslim Me Too movement.
Yeah, there was
we have to trust women, right? Muslim Me Too.
This was like probably 2016, 2017, but they started after the Me Too movement started. It was the Mosque Me Too movement, but this was all women talking about being groped and sexually assaulted during the pilgrimage to Mecca. They said it's just like a free for all. You're sitting there walking around the Kaaba, and guys are just feeling you up left and right, and there's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, and now we have, I guess, part two. Part two is exposing the Dawah guys. But this is another situation. This whole situation with young Bob. Think about this. This is all this right here is 100% the result of Hijab's ego. He refused to let Sister Aisha just warn women about what's happening, and then all these guys who are part of the cover-up, they're getting called out. So how did we know about Hashim? We knew about it from Behind Veils. So young Bob watches the Behind Veils videos, sees what Hashim did, that Hashim knows that Hijab was lying. He knows it. And he's part of the plot to defend Hijab and attack Sister Aisha. And what happens? This all gets exposed. Behind Veils exposes this, and then young Bob ends up calling him out at Speaker's Corner, and Hashim has to run like a sniveling coward. Why? Hijab. This, guys, don't chain yourself to a sinking ship. It's a bad idea. All right, let's let Bob continue cooking here.
Talk to you, and he keeps following me. Who said that?
Hashim on our secret group chat in trying to hide the scandal of Muhammad Hijab.
Yes, the same man who stands at Speaker's Corner every week lecturing others about Islam, morality, and truth couldn't handle being questioned by a teenager. Let that sink in. In a place known for fierce debates where heated discussions are common, Hashim ran to the police because someone asked him about his own words. And not just anyone, a 16-year-old. But wait a second, Hashim. Aren't many of these same police officers, by your logic and by your definition, considered kuffar? So why run to them now? Isn't it amazing how quickly these du'at abandon their bravado when their lies are exposed?
Help me, Kufar. Help me, Kufar. There's a 16-year-old boy asking me questions. Help me, Kufar. What a freaking coward, man. Gosh.
Yeah, Salman missed an opportunity there. He could have said they ran to the enemies of Islam, right? He ran to the enemies of Islam.
Oh, Thaddeus, come on, man! You're coming up with these awesome ideas. That's another video. Everyone catch that? Everyone catch that? What was their main accusation against Sister Aisha that showed how evil she was? She tried coming to us for help, and we eventually did interview her. That's the look how evil she is. She's running to the enemies of Islam. Who does Hashim run to when young Bob, a 16-year-old kid, is pestering him with questions? He runs to the kuffar, the enemies of Islam. You bunch of hypocrites. My goodness, here we go.
Week, young Bob returned, undeterred, but what happened next was even more vile. This time, it wasn't just Hashim. His sidekick, Siraj, joined the circus, not to clarify the lies, not to speak the truth, but to shield his friend and hurl disgraceful insults in the process. And what you're about to witness next reveals the true nature of these so-called du'at.
Hashim, do not speak to the audience, especially about women, because you abuse women.
Let that sink in. A 16-year-old had the courage to say what so many grown men remain too cowardly to admit. He called out the elephant in the room, that when you're complicit in the abuse of a woman, you'll lose the moral authority to speak about them, especially in public.
That's correct. You're abusing women. You're participating in cover up a scandal. Frame a woman, a Muslim woman who's just trying to help other Muslim women not get taken advantage of by a bunch of sick, disgusting Dawah guys. And you guys sit there lecturing. You lose the right. You lose the right to lecture everyone else on morality.
Audacity of Hashim to continue preaching while privately degrading and vilifying a Muslim sister is nothing short of outrageous.
Hey, by the way, dog, come here.
Yeah.
Let's
I remember we joined your line. Yeah, Hashim.
Come, dog.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doggy,
Is that how you treat women?
I treat you, dog.
Okay.
Are you a dog?
No.
You're
a woman
Jesus
abuser.
says dog.
Yeah, of course.
Jesus
But
says
you're a
dog.
woman abuser.
You're a dog. Come
By
follow me.
Islamic merits, you are a
Guys,
woman.
this is my dog. He's
Yes,
following
of
me.
course.
This isn't just childish. It is vile. It is derogatory. It is repulsive. It is sickening. Faced with serious accusations about his role in covering up abuse, Hashim doesn't deny it. He doesn't explain his actions. He doesn't even defend himself. Instead, he devolves into animalistic mockery, shouting dog over and over like a playground bully who ran out of arguments and cannot defend himself. This is the intellectual bankruptcy of a man caught in his own filth, unable to climb out, so instead he barks. Our beloved Prophet ﷺ said, a believer is not one who taunts, nor one who curses, nor one who is indecent, nor one who is foul-mouthed.
Hashim.
Come follow me, dog. Come follow me, dog.
Stop abusing women, Hashim.
By the way, is he grooming you still?
No. Are you grooming
you?
Are you grooming?
Is David grooming you?
So in response to a valid accusation.
That's what
So the guy they just passed, that's David, and his response to, hey, what's going on with how you guys are dealing with women? He says, David is grooming you. David is grooming you. David is grooming you. That's the response.
Mm-hmm.
Blackfire
So-
said,
A bit of
Okay.
projection.
you are being groomed by David.
What's that?
I said it might be a bit of projection there, right? That's the first thing he thinks of as he sees this teenage boy.
Oh,
and an
look, there's
older
a teenage boy,
man.
and yeah, he's around someone else. So that person must be grooming him. It's the only explanation for why they're hanging out here at Speaker's Corner.
And you,
Eddie Davis grooming
and
you.
by your own words, you are abusing
Come, dog,
women.
come, follow me,
Of
dog.
course. I am a dog.
What's crazy, I mean, again, like, Mohammed Hijab has made it a complete nightmare for these guys to do Dawah. It's at Speaker's Corner now. You can't. Because why? Because it was like a Speaker's Corner group chat where they were planning all this stuff. So a bunch of these guys are involved, and now what are they doing? This is their life. They go to Speaker's Corner and they do Dawah, and now they get called out every time. Smart Hijab.
And you're a
Come,
woman
follow me,
abuser.
come, dog.
What was that, Issa?
One thing I was going to say, it was interesting that he brought up dogs. I'm like, I don't know. I think dogs are really amazing. It's very funny to hear this, and I'm like, even Islamically, it's straight. So again, there's contradictory elements, and
I'm about to pull out Bukhari all over you, man.
But you know what's interesting? That the Quran has, in Surah Al-Kahf, the cave, it talks about a dog that protects the cave. So it's strange. There's multiple narratives. You
That's
get what
before Muhammad ordered his followers to kill dogs.
I saw Islamicized me. I'm familiar
and Issa
with
sitting here laughing about all the poor dogs.
I'm laughing. I'm just remembering your scene in the movie that you had made.
That was true. That was funny.
It was
scene.
Wild. It was wild.
That was
oh my
wild.
gosh! I wonder if I was in a movie like that. If I was in your movie, I wonder what role I would play.
Hey, you could be in our remake of Islamicize Me, man.
I wonder what people would think. They're like, what's wrong with this guy? But I think it's weird because this obsession with dogs is so strange. I mean, it's like it's complex because you have contradictory elements, and I think that's the issue with what Behind Veils is saying. There is a part of Islam that says exactly what it's saying, and then there's another part within the traditions that say something different, and we have to understand that there are elements that may contradict with each other. I'm like that is something that could arise, and I grant that. I think that the issue is that this like obsession against dogs is so weird. I'm like, dogs are such lovely animals. Like it's such a bizarre, and there's lots of different kinds of dogs, but like Labradors, Golden Retrievers.
Yeah, I have to say, I mean, there are of course like mean, nasty dogs in the world and stuff like this, but yeah, I don't trust anything that's just anti-dog. I mean, a good dog will like lay down its life to protect. Yeah. I saw this. I remember this from when I remember this from when I was a kid. But it was a dog. They had the dog outside in the doghouse, and he was on a chain, and a fire broke out in the house. The dog ripped out of its chain and tore through a door. They had video of the dog just went berserk, like attacking the door, and he finally got it, and he just starts ripping it, and he finally like gets his head through there, and he's like ripping the door apart with its neck. I mean, a door is hard to get through, guys. I mean, if you have a sledgehammer or something, an axe or something like that, you could do it. But just go to a door and start gnawing on it with your teeth until you break a hole, and to do it in this frenzy. Anyway, the dog gets in there, saves the whole family. Dog's got like chunks of door all in its neck and stuff like this. And so, Issa, I cannot support your hatred of dogs, I have to say.
You're funny. It's just really interesting because I was thinking about I would probably adopt a dog like a police. I was thinking about adopting a police dog. Those dogs that, go for like narcotics and stuff. Because I mean, they need a home after they finish their job being a police officer. So I'm like, I'll have a retired officer that I get to live with,
You're a woman abuser.
Calm, doggy.
You're a woman abuser.
You're being groomed, I heard.
Okay.
Why is
I
David
have
abusing
heard
you?
by your own WhatsApp group
Why is
chat
David abusing
that
you?
you are abusing
Why
women.
is David abusing you?
Stop abusing women.
Why is he abusing you?
David will
does your
stop.
mother and father know that?
Okay, of course
You're
they
being
do.
abused.
Yes.
Okay, do you know that? Do you
Does
know that you are the dog?
Ali Dawah, Muhammad
Do you know
Hijab, they
that
all
Jesus
know
calls
that
you
you
dog?
abuse
Matthew
women.
15.
This is next level gaslighting and deflection. Rather than confront the fact that he helped.
I have to say, I love the dynamic here. Like Salman, he gets the info, exposes it. Young Bob is horrified. He goes and calls them out. They get it on video of him calling out using what they got from Salman, and then Salman plays the video showing what these guys are bringing on themselves with their egos and terrible behavior. Awesome stuff. This is everyone working together, ladies and gentlemen, and we're playing it too. Awesome times.
Coordinate a smear campaign against a Muslim sister in a secret group chat. Hashim hurls wild accusations at a teenager, accusing him of being groomed, abused, and even projecting his own abusive behavior onto the boy. It's disgusting, it is cowardly, and it's a textbook example of psychological manipulation, shifting blame with baseless claims while avoiding the mountain of evidence stacked against him. Just a few seconds later, Siraj intervenes, trying to distract young Bob while Hashim tries to flee from accountability.
The
Listen,
people who
all
abuse
Christians
women.
abuse women.
Okay,
you born
then
outside
harass them.
wedlock. Why did you born outside wedlock?
Wait, if you find me,
Why did you born outside
find me-
wedlock? Your dad abused your mom.
This dude, you see this? This dude comes over to try and rescue Hashim and starts going, "Your dad abused your mom. Your dad abused your mom." Isn't it interesting that you come to them and call them out for something they actually did, and they respond by just making up tons of stuff? I have to say, this reminds me of what they're like when we point out something from their sources and then they make up stuff about the Bible. It's a weird mentality, man. But that's Dawah.
Okay.
You born outside
Okay.
wedlock. Bastard are
Now,
not welcome.
now the
So
Muslims
what's your
hold to the
point?
same Christian
Nah,
standards
I'm
as the
dealing
Christians.
with him. Just
Okay,
deal with him.
so
Okay, I'm gonna
Hashim,
stay.
why do you abuse women? Answer the question.
your dad abused
We have
your mother?
screenshots of
Why
you
your
being an
mother-
admin and you being complicit
By
in
the
the
way, are these
abuse of
Christian
women.
dogs?
Yes, of course. So, Hashim, I
What? Were you raising your hand?
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt the
Okay.
video. Why is he bringing up his mom? What does his mom have to do with this situation? Like, that's really disgusting to bring up someone's parents. Like,
That's what they do, though. I mean, specifically, that's Siraj. That's specifically what he does. If you say something, he'll go after something like whatever he thinks might be dear to you, and just start making things up and saying horrible things. But he's a regular at Speaker's Corner. Powerful Dawah.
By the way, the dogs
And,
are still
you know,
following me. Come.
What's that?
I was just gonna say, and Hashim's completely complicit, right? He's not
Yeah.
saying like stop that or
Yeah, he's
anything.
not saying, "Hey, it's a
Right? I mean, not that he
16-year-old
was
kid,
doing
quit
much
making stuff
better.
up."
He was calling him a dog, but I guess it is kind of worse to go after his parents than the person you're actually talking to. Either way, it's childish and pathetic, but it is actually kind of even worse to go after someone who's not even there, right? Has
Yeah.
nothing to do with anything. And you made a very good point a second ago, David, where you're like,
I did?
you know, this is they. you may not have realized it, but you're saying like, you know, they project. They say you bring up a legitimate criticism of the Bible, and then they make something up about, or I mean, of the Quran, and then they make something up about the Bible. And I found that all of Muslim polemics, whether it's this kind of nonsense or it's, you know, arguments against Christianity, it's all projection. It's all intended to cover up a weakness in their own beliefs. Whatever they say, like, you know, they say, the Trinity is so confusing. And it's to cover up a deficiency in their own religion where their own doctrine of God doesn't make any sense. You ask a bunch of different Muslims, I mean, they'll all say he's one, right? He's absolutely one. But then you try to get them to explain what that actually means, and they have many different contradictory ideas, none of which are coherent. So all of their things are designed to cover up weaknesses in Islam. And that's why as soon as someone comes to them with criticism, the first thing they think of is something about sexuality, right? Often Muslims will come in the chat when I'm having a conversation with Mary, and they'll be like, your dad abused or raped your mom, Mary, or your dad raped you, Mary. And it's like, that's not the first thing I would think of as an insult, right? Like, I get they're upset. I don't get like they don't like what we're saying, but like, I would say you're stupid or something along those lines, something that's actually at least kind of relevant if I'm upset. I wouldn't be like immediately, your parents raped you. I mean, it's just really bizarre, but that's where their mind goes because that's how things are in the world they observe.
And think about how it's always the same. It's always the same thing, right? Like, Sister Aisha, hey, if you're not letting me at least warn women, I'm going to expose you. Well, then we will expose you and we will make you look bad, right? Salman, hey guys, I'd like to help with this situation. You need to apologize. We can deal with this behind the scenes. And if you don't want to deal with it behind the scenes, I'm going to have to go public. Well, if you do, then we will expose you. We will expose you. And here you have young Bob calling them out for something. Oh, we will insult your mother. We'll call you a It's always, if you're going to expose us for what we're actually doing, we are going to make you really uncomfortable by heaping insults and abuse on you. What does everyone have in common who's responding to this in this video right now have in common? Sister Aisha, she doesn't back down from it. Salman doesn't back down from it. Young Bob doesn't back down from it. And it's like, you have this method that will work with certain people. Now you're down to people that it doesn't work with. And what do? You're going to call the cops on them like a coward.
Dogs follow me.
Yes.
My dogs can follow me.
Yes.
My dog, come here.
Are you against?
I'm asking you as a
abusing women?
Muslim.
Yes or no?
Okay. Yes, of course.
Yes. Okay. Why you're not against your dad?
Why?
Because your dad slept with your mom outside wedlock.
No, she
And
didn't.
it's haram.
When did
It's
she? No, she
prohibited.
didn't.
Yes, you're a child of bastard. Prove it wrong.
Prove
Show
me
me. Show me.
How am I supposed to
yes,
prove that
because
wrong?
I know. Christians do not marry. No, Christians do not marry. We know this
Said Christians do not marry.
for a fact. Christians,
Well,
they
my
do
parents
marriage
aren't
after
Christian.
They sleep together.
Well, my parents
as in
aren't.
boyfriend and girlfriend, majority of them.
Well,
and then they
he's a
marry
scam.
later. Yes.
So in
Prove that you're
response,
not bastard.
him
He
and
born outside marriage.
Oh, is he?
So
No.
his dad
Is it the
abused-
milkman?
Huh?
His dad
Is it the milkman?
abused. His
No.
dad
Who's your daddy?
abused his mother.
Who's your daddy?
Who's
His
yours?
dad
Who's your daddy?
Last time you
abused his
said
mother.
the guy is African.
That is the gingerest ginger I've ever seen in my entire life. That is like if Pippi Longstocking was a dude. That makes me.
But
wanna go to
Hashim
Wendy's.
actually demonstrated how Dawah works there, right? So Siraj just makes something up out of nowhere, saying that he
all you gotta
was
do.
born out. Bob was born out of wedlock, and Hashim said, "Oh, that's definitely true," and then starts repeating it himself. Now, I mean, he probably doesn't necessarily really believe it, but it is very illustrative of how these things tend to go, right? Someone makes something up, and then everyone repeats it.
Pardon?
Your dad-
My dad is a wonderful man.
Who's your dad?
He's a wonderful man.
Who's your dad?
He's a wonderful man.
Yeah, go away.
No, I refuse. There's no need to push me.
I'm not pushing. I'm trying to turn
You
around.
clearly are. Now, look, Hashim, you can either be a man about these accusations, or you can cower behind other people.
No,
He's
Very
going to go with the
clearly,
second one. He's
you-
going to go with the
you-
second
in
one.
Talk about
terms-
your dad.
Okay, I will.
No, talk about your dad
Wait,
from
wait.
the camera.
This is vile beyond comprehension.
Yep.
Siraj doesn't defend Hashim. He doesn't deny the leaked chat. He doesn't question the facts. Instead, he attacks young Bob, mocking his family, his parents, and his very birth by calling him a bastard. This isn't Dawah. This is degeneracy. This isn't just an ad hominem. It's a moral implosion. These are the very people who claim to represent Islam, and yet they stoop lower than the enemies they claim to oppose. This isn't Dawah. It is spiritual rot.
But Hashim, you are abusing a woman by claiming that she is an apostate. You said that if we claimed that she had a mental deficiency.
What's up, Isa?
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but there was something that I think is really important to engage. And it's something that I've noticed in this so-called Dawah scene. And like I said before, I know there's things that might contradict, but there is a verse of the Quran, I'm sure you know, that said that Muslims are commanded not to attack other people's gods. Like, you can't debate people and say that your God is false because they'll attack your God, right? There is an injunction to do that. But I noticed that
That's Surah 6, verse 108, everyone.
yes. And that's an injunction. So, but these people are violating that injunction over and over again. So, like, attacking the Trinity.
Yeah,
mocking-
actually they are, because when you bring up 6108, I'm thinking of situations where, because the actual background for 6108 is you had people in the Ummah who were making fun of the gods and goddesses of the polytheists, and the polytheists eventually said, well, we'll make fun of your God and your religion and your prophet too in return. And then the command came, well, if don't do that. Stop the insults, because it's going to cause them to insult your religion in return. Now, we do see commentators and so on who say that, but if you have control, if you have power over them and they can't insult you in return, then it's fine to insult. But look at the situation that they're in right now. They're 100% in a situation where people have the ability to insult back, and they keep doing it anyway. So yeah, they are in complete, total violation of the Quran, and they don't even care. Wild. What?
And I actually agree. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I was going to say, I actually had a Muslim come into the a chat like a week ago, quoted that verse to tell me to shut up. And then I explained it and said, okay, you need to shut up. And then he started insulting my God. It was so weird.
Was
Like
that
he literally think there.
was that Muslim's name Isa perchance?
No, I think it was Muhammad, but it might not have been.
But I think what's interesting is there's like lots of violations that people do, and we'll talk about the Islamic dilemma later. But that's something that blows my mind when I see Muslims attacking the Torah, attacking the New Testament. I'm like, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're attacking your own scriptures. And then you try to say, well, they're phantom texts. We're going to talk about this later, I know, but I'm like, it's a part of the same package. I'm like, you're saying, well, the Torah and the Zabur and the Injil, you know, these are Islamic texts, right? And then you say, well, I'm going to start mocking these texts. I'm like, how do you do that? How do you mock your own texts and mock your own tradition? Because this is your tradition too. And you can make up stories to try to say it's not your tradition, but then that hurts you because then you have no legitimacy of a lineage. You don't have, if you're erasing your lineage, then you have no lineage. If you want to claim the Hebrew prophets, you want to claim this ancient tradition, then you got to go with it. And if you don't want to do that, then you don't have a foundation for your house. So that's a huge problem. We'll talk about that more. We'll unpack that more. But I'm like, it's all a part of the same package here of lots of problems with this so-called Dawah.
And it's weird because this is kind of small scale right now in that. I mean, think about it. I mean, young Bob wasn't like insulting God, or he was asking a person about why he was part of this plot to destroy the reputation of a Muslim woman, and they instantly start going, after his parents and your mom and you're a dog and stuff like that. But this is kind of like, this is like a micro scale in that it's, one person insulting another, but it's also true on a much bigger scale that these are the guys who are representing Islam on like YouTube and so on, Muhammad Hijab, Ali Dawah, and it's causing massive insults against Allah and Muhammad and the Quran and so on. And guess what? It's a big part of why I am the way I am now was the way these guys acted over all these years. I have to say, if the popular people in Islam were like Salman and Isa and people like that, I don't think you'd have anywhere near as much of these al-Zut jokes. But it is what it is. So the Zut jokes will continue, everyone.
Then people might feel sorry for her. So instead, mark her as an enemy of Islam. But Hashim, here's the problem. What if that woman is harmed now because you've called her an enemy? What you're potentially doing is putting her life in danger. What will you do if a man...
That's David talking. That's a really good point. It's you're calling her an ex-Muslim and an enemy of Islam. You are actually endangering this woman's life here. And you don't care, all to protect hijab from facing the consequences of his actions. And you're willing to, they didn't care if she was going to end her own life. They don't care if she gets killed as an apostate. They just don't care. They want to, that's a Muslim. That's how they treat her. Sick stuff.
A woman goes up to her because they know who she is and they harm her because of what you said, Hashim.
This is the moment where the mask is torn off. David calls it out directly. By branding a Muslim woman as an apostate, Hashim has endangered her life. We are no longer talking about petty insults or online drama. This is serious. This is the kind of rhetoric that leads to real-world violence. Just go look at the countless and vicious attacks against the sister as a result of how both Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawah tried to portray her.
Yeah, she had to move.
As an enemy of Islam. And for what? To protect Muhammad Hijab from being exposed, from shielding the truth about his deception, his lies, and his engagement.
I have to say, these Dawah guys, based on their behavior, these are the biggest bunch of idolaters on the planet. I mean, they're complete, utter, total idolaters. They will violate like rules in Islam. They'll try to get a Muslim woman killed. They'll do all of that out of their blind worship of someone like Muhammad Hijab.
And blackmail, to silence a woman who dared to speak about abuse, about being tricked and deceived. This isn't just reckless, it is criminally irresponsible. And every second Hashim remains silent, it is a stain on his character and the Dawah he claims to uphold. It isn't just me. It isn't just Sister Aisha. It isn't anyone speaking up against corruption amongst our ranks that is harming the image of the Dawah. It is these class act clowns who cannot practice what they preach, all while there is a common question that is echoing in the minds of many Muslims and non-Muslims. Why do these so-called leaders, preachers, and imams remain silent despite the damning evidence? Let's just say, as you see many of them chasing fame and money, this has now become a rhetorical question.
You want to pause real quick?
Mm-hmm.
You actually made a comment, maybe you remember it, maybe you don't, David, years ago when Ali Dawah was much smaller. And you said the moment Ali Dawah hits 1 million subscribers will be the greatest day in the anti-Dawah scene, because these clowns, whether it's Ali Dawah or Muhammad Hijab or, the newer arrivals like Dean Responds, all they want to do is do this vile rhetoric, which definitely attracts some people, but it probably repulses a lot more people than it attracts. And they're the public face of Islam, right? Forget whether it bothers Muslims or not. They want to reach out to non-Muslims, right? And non-Muslims see this, and very few people are attracted to this, right? And what it does is creates this impression, right or wrong, and we don't need to debate which one it is, but it creates this impression, unquestionably, that Islam is this violent religion of be strong, men dominate women, we do whatever we want to women, and we that's what they're projecting.
We
right?
get them to communicate through a dry erase board. See how cool we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that's their public image of Dawah. And I know that's not what they wanted 20 years ago, right? They tried very, very hard, the people with the money and the power, they tried very hard to hand select the nicest people they could be to do outreach and have this particular image in the public. Islam's the religion of peace. We're just so friendly with everyone. And then the internet or YouTube came along specifically, gave other people the opportunity to, go around the power structures, and lo and behold, those people became the most popular, and now they're the face of Islam. They are literally the face of Islam in the public's eye. If you ask someone in the UK, right, they might say that Muhammad Hijab is the most important Muslim in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of this,
you got a shield.
They're gonna live with this image, right? This is the image that they have given them, the community.
Mm-hmm.
And Salman wants to fight against that.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand why, right? Well, one, because he doesn't believe in it, but two, it's a terrible image.
Mm-hmm.
Muhammad Hijab is leading more people out of Islam than anyone else.
Yep.
Thaddeus, you bring up something really interesting that I think we need to consider. One thing that I hear a lot, like sometimes I stream in, like I'm really busy, but sometimes, if I'm traveling, I check in like some of these debates, and I've listened to the debate, some of these debate channels where Christians are debating Muslims, and then they come, it's like a call-in show, and the Muslim will call in and will say, I'm not knowledgeable. And I'm like, then why are you coming on the show? Like, that sounds really unintelligent to begin with. I'm like, what is your purpose of coming here? Maybe you thought you were knowledgeable. And then they say, well, I'm not knowledgeable, I'm not a scholar, but then I'm going to tell you about Christianity. You're not a scholar, but you can talk about a religion that you really know nothing about. I'm like, okay, that's amazing. My mind's blown by this. But then the next thing is there's a kind of a retreat, and they say, well, why don't you debate Muhammad Hijab? And I'm like, what credentials does Muhammad Hijab? Does he have a PhD or something in comparative religion? Because that's what he needs. He doesn't need a degree in just Islamic studies. He would need to have a degree in comparative religion. So he would have to have. So I've taken graduate level classes studying Christianity. So I read, like Pilgrim's Progress, Interior Corridors, like by Teresa of Avila, Saint Teresa of Avila. So I had to read these texts, right? I've read, when I took my undergrad class in Christianity, like I read what do they call it? The Dialogue of the Savior, like these non-canonical texts. So like I actually got a basis like from academic education to learn about this stuff, right? These people haven't studied any of this. They don't have any education in this stuff. So I'm like, how are you going to come in and say you're this great scholar and you haven't actually done the work? You don't know Christian literature. You don't know, the history of Christianity. All you know is like talking points
That
that make you sound.
it's called the Dawah script.
The thing is, there was this movie with Jesse Eisenberg, and it was a fascinating movie because his father's this professor, right? And he doesn't actually read any of the books, but he imitates what his father says, like at a dinner table, to impress this young lady, right? To get her to kind of go out with him. But the thing was, it's a complete fraud. He didn't actually read the book. So he doesn't actually know what the book said. He only knows like talking points that he heard his father speaking about the book. And that's kind of what I feel when I listen to these so-called da'is or dawagandists. I'm like, you don't actually know what the New Testament said. You've never probably read it. You know what I mean? You probably just read something on Google or Chat GPT, some AI, you don't actually know what these texts say, and you misrepresent the text. And it's really vile. It's a very vile thing. It's interesting. We did a review on Daniel Hakikachu's debate with it was a Hindu guy who I don't know if he was Advaita Vedanta, I forgot, but it was one of the debates. There's one called Heated Debates, and there was another one. But we reviewed all of his arguments that he did against Hinduism, and all of them were false. They were all misrepresented. He was like saying,
What? Daniel Hakikachu, the biggest liar ever? No.
But it was like we looked at every single thing, and we looked because when you're doing academics, you have to represent the scholar's argument. And what the scholar was saying, it was symbolic. It was not at all literal. And he tried to talk about, the Devadasi, like the certain elements, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, and also you're not defending Islam, you're just attacking Hinduism, and you're misrepresenting Hinduism. And I think it's bad faith. When you're coming into a conversation, you have to give good faith to the argument you're looking at. You have to represent it in the best way you can. You can't like manipulate like stuff like, it's like tabloid news. You remember those like magazines when you would go to the supermarket and it had a bunch of rubbish in it, and you're like, it tells you all of the salacious details of celebrities? That's what I feel about a lot of this stuff. Like they said, Rebecca was 3 years old. And I'm like, that's bad for you, dude, because you believe in the Torah. You believe in the Hebrew stuff. So you're shooting yourself in the foot. So you're saying that this about yourself. So I'm like, that's doesn't even make any common sense what you're doing. Like I saw Daniel debate a Jewish person. I'm like, you're shooting yourself. You're not helping yourself because you have to believe it. You believe in the Hebrew prophets. That's a part of being a Muslim. You have to believe in those things. So I'm like, are you just going to make them like phantom prophets, peanut gallery prophets? What's your goal with them? Are they real prophets, or are they phantom prophets or peanut gallery prophets? What do you want them to be? And I think that is, I don't know, it's preposterous, and it's ridiculous in my opinion.